Hi, hello. If you're a hot girl with stomach issues, you need to keep watching this video because I'm quite literally going to be spilling all of the tea on how I've healed my gut, my top 10 tips on how I've improved my digestion, reduced my bloating, all of the good stuff. So go grab yourself a cup of tea, cup of coffee, some snacks. And I know what you're all thinking, Renee, why did you leave us for so long? It's been so long since I've actually sat down and actually filmed a YouTube video. My tripod stand is currently covered in a layer of dust. That is how long it's been since I've actually filmed a video, but I am back. So first things first, guys. Tip number one, reducing stress. This is something that a lot of people ignore. Definitely ignored it at the start of my gut healing journey. Stress can negatively impact your gut health. It really wrecks your digestion. De-stress exercises such as meditation, deep breathing exercises, mind-body connection exercises. So things like getting a massage, getting acupuncture done. I've also got an acupressure mat, which really helps me. This video is not sponsored, guys. I'm actually going to quickly show you what mat I'm using, so I'll literally be back in 2 seconds. This couch is so creaky. This is my lovely Shakti mat. It's like an acupressure mat. Use this 10 to 20 minutes every single night. It's really good for relaxation. 10 out of 10 recommend. Tip number two is also going to be very obvious, but again, a lot of people do ignore this basic tip. Getting your bowels moving. And what I mean by this is how regularly you do go to the toilet. Constipation is a major root cause of chronic bloating. So for me, I like to get my hot girl walks in every single day. Usually a 20-minute walk for me does wonders. No, I do not look like a hot girl when I go for my daily walks. Literally just roll out of bed, chuck on my clothes and get it over and done with. Also ensuring that you're drinking enough water. I'm quite literally always sipping on coconut water. And another really great supplement for everything moving is magnesium. It has honestly made a huge difference to my gut health. Tip number three is going to be really focusing on your digestion. My digestion literally used to be trash, always bloated after eating meals, and I didn't really understand why. I did eventually discover digestive enzymes. Honestly, I've noticed a massive difference in my bloating since starting digestive enzymes. Also start eating more foods that contain natural digestive enzymes, so things like mangoes, pineapples, papaya. So basically all the tropical fruits. Also bananas are really high in digestive enzymes. Another really important factor when it comes to proper digestion, to implement some more bitter foods. I really like dandelion root tea. Got this from the farmer's market on the weekend. And on top of that, I really love lemon water. Also sometimes add orange to that as well. An orange rind in tea, literally a game changer for your digestion. Another really nice herb that you can add to your teas for digestion is ginger. Really put ginger in everything. Tip number four, guys, is probiotics and probiotic rich foods. If you do not have access to an expensive probiotic, do not worry because there's a lot of foods that contain probiotics naturally. Things like yogurt, sauerkraut, kimchi, and that's about all I can currently think of. But do take a probiotic. Got this one, I think from Chemist Warehouse. So tip number five is gut healing supplements. For me, I really like L-glutamine powder. You've probably all seen this over TikTok. Also asked me a lot of questions on TikTok on what brand I'm currently using for my L-glutamine. So I currently use the brand Healthwise. No gluten, no artificial flavors. I literally just bought this online. And I also do really like collagen powder. Collagen's also really good for your skin, hair, and nails. Really just like adding it to pretty much everything just to really get in some more protein. So that brings us to tip number six, guys. That is going to be prebiotics. A lot of people only focus on probiotics. Prebiotics are basically what feed the good bacteria. For that, I really like oats. Bananas are also really high in prebiotics. Same goes for foods like asparagus and onions. I'm pretty sure that you can buy prebiotics in a form of supplement too. Tip number seven is going to be avoiding foods or drinks. Might aggravate your gut health, make your gut health worse, or make your bloating worse. For me, this is alcohol, a lot of processed foods, as well as processed sugars, and foods that have things like artificial sweeteners in them can also aggravate my gut health, but not just my gut health, things like I end up getting things like rashes and brain fog and fatigue. And this is going to be different for everyone. So just because I avoid them doesn't mean that you have to. And it also doesn't mean that I avoid them 24/7 because that's basically impossible. When I am cooking at home, I don't really include alcohol, processed foods, or processed sugars into the meals that I make. Obviously, if I'm out at a party or an event, these foods are pretty hard to avoid all of the time. Oh, I also forgot to add to that list gluten. Me and gluten are not friends. I have non-celiac gluten sensitivity, so that is why I really try and avoid gluten as much as I can. Just because I avoid gluten doesn't mean that you have to avoid gluten unless you've been tested and you know that it doesn't vibe with you. I got tested for celiac, that was negative. I was still getting really bad symptoms, so I was very confused. I eventually got tested for non-celiac gluten sensitivity. It made a lot of sense because the symptoms that I got from having gluten ended up getting things like nerve pain and fatigue and brain fog. So if you're someone that does have symptoms after eating gluten, but you've been checked for celiac and you're negative, you might want to eventually look into getting tested for non-celiac gluten sensitivity, which brings me into my next tip. Tip number 8 is going to be getting testing done. If you're also someone like me that had gut health symptoms literally months and years, if I'm being totally honest, that I just ignored because I thought they were normal, there is a lot of testing that you can get done for your gut health. If you do have gut health issues, I would strongly suggest working with a healthcare practitioner. Just a reminder, guys, this is not medical advice. I can only speak from personal experience, and you can get checked for any gluten issues. Also, lactose intolerance is another common one. H. pylori can also cause a lot of gut health issues. Parasites can, as well as SIBO. So SIBO is small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. I definitely did have SIBO, was contributing to a lot of my gut health symptoms. Ended up doing antimicrobial herbs, so things like oil of oregano really helped me. So apart from those testings, I also got food allergy and food sensitivity testing done. It was a Dunwoody dietary antigen test. I did order this through my health practitioner. You cannot buy this test online. And on top of that, I also got a GI map stools test. This literally checked any imbalances that I had in my gut. It also checks for things like candida, parasites, leaky gut, gut inflammation. It was honestly a lifesaver. I would 10 out of 10 recommend it if you do decide to get any gut health testing done. And I did order this from my functional medicine doctor. I do know that some naturopaths can also order this. I've been talking way too much and I'm so thirsty. Okay guys, tip number 9, improving your gut diversity. Essentially just eating more fruit and veggies every single week. They recommend up to like 40 different fruits and vegetables every single week. So when I first started my gut healing journey, there was no way that I was eating 40 different fruits and vegetables every single week. And this also means not eating the same fruit and veg every single week. Obviously, it's like 10 or 20 that I would constantly eat, but you really want to make sure every single week getting a couple of new fruits or veggies that you don't usually eat and adding them into your meals. This is why I really like to shop at farmers markets or independent fruit and veg shops, because they've got a lot more to offer than just supermarket fruit and veg. At the moment, farmers markets as well as independent fruit and veg shops are a lot cheaper compared to supermarket fruit and veg prices at the moment, because inflation is definitely not anybody's friend at the moment. So I'm actually thinking of my next video, budget-friendly shop for gut health. If that is something that you would like me to film, guys, definitely leave a comment. That brings us to tip number 10. This tip is something that is not really spoken about, because I don't think a lot of people really even know about this. I can only really speak from my experience, and that is with toxicity. As some of you know, that I did get diagnosed with chronic inflammatory response syndrome from mold toxicity. I honestly didn't really understand the connection between mold, how it can wreck your gut health, until I started actually addressing it. And also, if you're someone that has maybe done a program such as SIBO for candida or for parasites, and you felt better after it. Because for me in the past, I did so many programs where I felt really great, and as soon as I stopped that program, all of my symptoms basically returned. And it wasn't until I started to address mold toxicity I realized a lot of those sort of reoccurring hidden infections that I was getting actually because of the mold toxicity that I was experiencing. And this is probably only going to account for 1% people watching this video, as it is not very common. If you do have chronic bloating, gut health issues, as well as other symptoms such as chronic fatigue, dry eyes, rashes, I would highly suggest working with a healthcare professional that does specialize in chronic inflammatory response syndrome, because it's really been a lifesaver for me. Hope you've really enjoyed this video, you found it useful. I promise that I'm going to start to be more consistent. You can expect at least one video a week from me from now on. And I'll see you guys all in my next video. XOXO. Gossip Goat.